Henry Ford low-key would have been canceled so fast if the photos that were taken here came out today. Now that we've covered that Henry Ford was actually an anti-Semitic authoritarian billionaire who could not read or write but thought he knew how everyone else should live, let's pick up where we left off in part 2. The Great Depression, when he laid off more than half of his employees. By that point, Ford had so much land and so much money, he was running out of ways to use it. He bought up a bunch of buildings from his past, like post offices, storefronts, entire houses. And then he moved them onto one plot of land and restored them here at Greenfield Village. After that, he collected all these priceless relics and historical artifacts to add to his museum. He built the River Rouge factory and new roads to connect all of his property, which included underground tunnels even. So locals, if you ever wonder why it floods so bad here, maybe you should blame the infrastructure issues on him. The estate meant for Edsel was gifted to his driver and secretary. They also got an estate on Lake Huron with a guest house that was used by none other than Charles Lindbergh, the known German soldier sympathizer. Ford was giving out houses to his friends the way Oprah gave out cars. Even Harry Bennett got a few. But let's back it up. If Ford laid off half his workers, how did he keep these massive factories running? Obviously on the backs of people of color. After failing attempts to colonize and exploit labor abroad, he turned to the closest thing to forced labor that we had available in the US, by hiring black workers after the Great Migration. When you hear that Ford became the biggest employer of black workers in the auto industry, you think, wow, he was so forward. But no, he was exploiting them. Those workers were the ones with the most dangerous and lowest paying jobs. They were so desperate and needed these jobs, so they were scared to unionize. That's when the unemployed workers got fed up. Thousands of people marched right here across the Fort Street Bridge to the River Rouge plant, just asking for food and jobs. It led to full-on chaos. Ford's private police opened fire. The local police came, they used tear gas. The local fire department sprayed their hoses. 5 were unalive and dozens more were injured. You'd think the whole hunger march would have got him canceled or something, but no. He doubled down and blamed them and called it a communist plot. And who was going to stop him? He had a private police force, a mob of gangsters, and the fear. He controlled the press, the workers, the town, and the whole narrative. Luckily, the people didn't fall for the propaganda that was in the papers, and over 25,000 people at least showed up to the funeral in support of the marchers. After this, the workers began unionizing. GM and Chrysler recognized the UAW, but Ford, of course, continued to refuse. When people showed up to the Rouge plant to hand out flyers, Henry sent Bennett's men. Walter Reuther and Richard Frankenstein were posing for a photo on the overpass. Bennett's men came up behind them. His men beat them and anyone else that was there, even the women. And the press caught it all. Ford's men tried to cover it up, but by then the images went national. This led to a strike at the factory organized by the UAW, and Ford was finally forced to recognize the union. And poor Edsel was taken by cancer at the age of 49, and he never got the chance to fully take over the company or see it move forward. After that, his widow and son, Ford II, who is now president of the company, planned the forced retirement of Bennett. Henry ended up passing a few years later, and he's been remembered as an American hero while the rest of all this stuff's just forgotten. One thing's clear to me though, there can never be an ethical billionaire.